whilst marriage can be one of life's biggest joys, it can also be one of life's biggest challenges. You think you've heard all the advice. Communication is key. Never go to bed angry. But the truth is, there are some lessons you can only learn when you're actually inside the marriage. Now, if I could go back to my newlywed self, there are three things that I would make sure that I understood. And these aren't just theories that just plucked out of nowhere, but these are practical truths that can build a strong, lasting marriage. Hi, my name is Shay. I'm a wife, mom of three, and a faith-driven entrepreneur passionate about helping busy moms just like yourselves simplify your lives, grow your business, and stay rooted in your God-given purpose. Now, yes, communication is key, but it's more than just talking. Now, James 1:19 says, "Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." Now, we can easily think that communication is all about talking and being heard, but it's more than just that. It's also very much about listening to what is being said by your husband or your wife. Early on in my marriage, I thought I had this communication thing unlocked. I was expressing how I felt. I would say what I needed to say. He would, sit there. He would look at me. He would be, okay. And I was like, oh, yeah, end of story. I've said what I said. He agrees, boom, done. But that wasn't the case, because what I found out about my husband is that he needed time to process what I was saying. So what I thought was disinterest from him, when I was sharing certain things, or agreement from him when I was sharing my perspective on things, was not the case. He needed time to process what I was saying. So when I started learning his communication style and he started learning my communication style, we started to understand each other a lot better. The reality is this, we're wired differently, and understanding your partner's communication style isn't a sign of weakness. It's not a sign that your voice won't be heard and you're not going to get to, have your say, but rather it's love in action from both sides. Number 2, people will change. You will too, so grow together, not apart. Amos 3:3 says, "Can two walk together unless they are agreed?" Now, I believe that this verse highlights the importance of two people walking together and there needing to be a common goal or purpose, like a mutual agreement on the direction in which you want your marriage to go. Now, marriage is a journey. It is not a destination. And there is a beauty in learning to grow together. Now, this isn't to say, you have to be carbon copies of each other. You have to agree on everything. Or there won't be seasons where one person might feel they're being left behind when the other person is starting to realize their dreams or chase their careers. But this is why it is important that you are unified under a shared goal. There is an agreed heart posture in your purpose and in your commitment to one another. Because when you've both aligned yourselves under a shared vision rooted in love, faith, and trust, then even if your paths seem different or they move at different paces, you are still walking together. Marriage is about more than being in the same place at the same time. It's about being united in spirit, supporting each other's growth, and being willing to walk through the highs and the lows as one. Now, there may be times when one of you needs to, slow down a little bit to encourage the other person, or there might be seasons when one person is called to rise and the other person is just there to cheer them on. But when you are in agreement, when there is a foundation of mutual understanding and shared values, you will always find your way back to step in sync with one another. Amos 3:3 reminds me that agreement isn't just about avoiding conflict, but rather it's about choosing intentional unity. Now, in marriage, that kind of agreement, now that's what keeps two people walking side by side, hand in hand through every season. Now, how do you think you're going to change in 5 years, or your partner? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video speaks to you, make sure to like and subscribe for more like this. Number 3, kids will stretch you, but they don't have to break you. Psalm 127 verse 3 says, "Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from him." Yes, kids are a blessing, but let's not sugarcoat it. They also come with a lot of noise, a lot of mess, demands, and more laundry than anyone warned me about. When you're married with kids, your relationship with your spouse does not go on pause. It just enters into a new, much louder chapter. I mean, I've got 3 little ones, and there were times after each child was born that I felt like me and my husband were just surviving. We're tag teaming night feeds, juggling work, navigating who's doing nursery pickups and nursery drop-offs. And in all that business, it was easy to start feeling like we're more like, roommates and teammates rather than actual married couple. But here's what I've learned. Kids don't have to break your connection. In fact, they can deepen it if you let them. You and your spouse will be stretched emotionally, physically, spiritually. But how you respond in those moments, they matter. So instead of, letting all that chaos pull you apart, use it to lean into one another, pray together, laugh together at the madness, communicate your needs honestly, and make time. Yes, make time, even if it's just 5 minutes in the kitchen while you're making dinner, so that you can stay connected as a couple, not just as co-parents. Now, it won't always look perfect, but every moment that you choose each other, even in the mess, those are the moments that your marriage grows stronger. Now, your kids, they don't need perfect parents. They just need parents who love each other and model grace under pressure. Marriage isn't always easy, but trust me, it is worth it. Whether you are newly married, you are deep in the thick of parenting, or you're just navigating everyday ups and downs, know this: you are not alone, and growth is possible. Now, with God at the center, a heart that listens, a willingness to grow together, and a grace for the journey, because it is a journey, not a destination, especially when kids come into the picture, your marriage can not only just survive, but thrive. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.